What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? This your boy Enlightened Luciferian Prince coming at y'all once again. Glad to be back. Glad to have an actual opportunity and a moment to actually do a video in the midst of the chaos of the world. Unfortunately, Lysol has become my best friend. And guess what? My eyes are red. Guess people, I am sick. Again. and I have a case of the pink eye. But life's great. I'm still here. Anyway, this is video is I wanted to do this video because I think that lately a lot of people have been pressed about this issue in their personal life, and a lot of people have also been asking me questions about certain things and so forth and so on. So in respects to this, I'm going to do an informative video. If you're watching this video around children, yes, people, please pause this video and remove them from the immediate vicinity because, yes, I have a tendency to use strong language. It is what it is. Sometimes I just have to convey the message that way. Some videos I don't curse at all, but this is just one of the situations where I think I need to. And also to mention, to the patrons, I should say, I've been getting y'all notifications to view who it is. I can count y'all along one finger and each 2 fingers and on each inch increment. I'm dealing with a situation with Vimeo. For some odd reason, it's not allowing me to stream from that platform, so I'm probably going to have to use another one. But trust me, I'm working on it. Hey, Kim wasn't built in a day. All right, so with that being said, let me also say this. This video does not constitute legal advice, nor does it constitute anything quote-unquote anti-government. The sole purpose of my videos are for informational and educational purposes only. Now, what do I want to elaborate upon in the simplicity of the generalization that I need to put on this channel? It's about courts by contract. I think that this is one of the most important things for people to understand is that courts are by contract. I said it time and time again in previous videos, but I think I want to expound upon it a lot more. So a lot more people can start delving into their studies on contract law and can start, focusing their studies on interpreting contracts and who is the beneficiary and who's basically going to be a liable party and so forth. And all of this is what you can basically formulate your own education around. When it comes down to these processes and procedures, I try to express to people that it all boils down to how your mind formulates around what you're understanding and what you're studying. There's processes. There are people who have made it simple to kind of just give you a step-by-step. I've tried to do that in the past, but like I said before, people have taken advantage of that, but neither here nor there. I'm in control of this in regards to the information I disseminate, but what you have to understand is it's really all about you and your way of thinking and fixing your way of interpreting the world that's around you. That's the beginning factor. It's not about who knows the most. Like certain groups have these infighting hierarchies of people who see themselves as the supreme beings of group, and all that shit is just totally mimicking the systematic ideology. This is a individual path for you to be able to push yourself in a higher dimension to live a more sensible existence in commercial society. That's what this is all about. This is not about trying to race to get all the knowledge in the world, because most people want to get all the knowledge in the world and don't want to do a motherfucking thing with it. And if that's the case, that's the reason why you got the Vatican. These punk bitches over there, they got all the books, and they don't even read them they fucking self. You know what I'm saying? So it's sort of situations where you don't need to know everything. You just need to know what you need to know. Does that make sense? You just need to know what you need to know that's pertinent at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel like you got to walk around with a library and fucking volumes of books in your fucking head, because that takes time to accumulate. Don't do it all in one day. Trust me, you'll totally give up on your fucking self. But I want to talk about courts by contract. Erie Railroad versus Tompkins is a case that was determined that was reviewed from, I think, 1936 or 1937, but was published in 1938. Was determined that it was published through a Supreme Court reporter that the case was published then because determination was actually reached, is that courts are contractual. Period. It's all contractual. Once Erie Railroad determined where there is no contract, there is no case, thereby making all cases, all court cases are contracts. Period. Now I know I might have some jurisprudence on here, or some people who might work for the legal establishment might want to disagree. Well, yeah, I know why you would, because, you know, hit your wallet. I mean, I understand. Yeah, of course you're going to try to dissuade people. But courts are contractual. Every time you involve yourself with a court system, irrespective of what you've done, I don't care if it's murder, I don't care if it's stealing a Snicker bar, I don't care if it's pissing against the side of a building, hell, I don't care if it's skydiving off the stratosphere in Las Vegas. It's all contractual. It's all contractual. And all judges who hold their position are the distributors and the initiators on behalf of the prosecutor, the pro se executor of administering that contract. Every argument that is presented in court leads up to how that contract shall be written. Now, most people have been misled to believe that the judge is your adversary. No, people. It's whoever brought a claim against you, whether it's a privatized corporation, a third party, or what we call the corporation in which you reside, the state, or domicile, the state itself. These are all claimants. These are all people who are considered, Black's Law Dictionary, look up the word claimant. It only means someone saying you did something, irrespective of you harming a private person and their private property. Anything else is contracted in the public sphere. Millions upon millions of cases are filed into the court system daily. And people are like, millions? Yes, because you have so many different tiers in which, in regards to filings and information and so forth and so on, to how these things will lead up to how the contract is actually dispersed to the liable party, or parties for that matter. And the reason why I'm expounding upon this in this video is to give you much more of a deeper introspective look into not believing in that Law and Order TV sense, that bullshit you thinking that this stuff happens in 5 minutes. No. That's one of the reasons why so many court cases take so long to be determined, because it's all about determining how the arguments will be led up to the subject matter jurisdiction that is given to the case in order for the case to be properly determined. That's why it drags out. People say the system ain't broken. No, the system has weighed itself down because it has made itself, since Erie Railroad versus Tompkins, the primary basis of how contracts are actually resolved. And this is a legal working. This is a realm of legal. This is a legal world that is totally set outside from the public, but it somehow needs the public to be involved with it. You see what I'm saying? See, that's the thing that people have to get. But what I will say is this, though. To make your life simpler and to not confuse you with the actual subject matter of this video, what I will say is this. And yes, I don't care if they get mad with what I say, but I'm saying it. Stay the fuck out of them. Stay out of them. Stay out of them. Now people are like, well, we need to resolve matters and so forth and so on. That's the way that society predisposed it for you. That's the way that they predisposed it for you. Because in order for you to actually resolve a case, you have to involve them. Once you involve other people in your business, it's probably out your hands. Now, it doesn't matter if it's civil or it doesn't matter if it's criminal. It's all the same. Now, criminals a little bit more, because when it comes down to mortgage bonds, that's the reason why they're a little bit harsh. And that all goes into another video at another time. We'll get there later on. Patrons, you'll get the information, but everybody else, it'll be lackadaisical. But in regards to that, these are contracts that these entities administer. to make shit either easier for them, in most cases, and harder for you. Because legal processes are expensive. They are, hell, to file a writ of mandamus in Florida costs at least about roughly $500. And that's just to file. Now, I think the filing fees might have changed because of scenario, but that's just the bare minimum. Just to file certain shit costs. To file in United States District Court, just to file a civil suit, $400, $450. That's just to put the paperwork in motion. We're not talking about lawyers' fees. We're not talking about attorney's fees. We're not talking about none of that stuff. We're not talking about anything that has to be done after that point. That's one of the reasons why certain lawyers and certain spheres and certain atmospheres in society insulate themselves around, they insulate the government or certain extra governmental corporations from certain practices because they know the system. So they basically earn their keep. You know how many people that are public figures today. If you do enough research and you really want to get into nerd mode and get into your research, understand that there are a lot of public figures that a lot of people may gullibly look up to that have cases and claims against them. Yeah, people. Yes, they have. Most people who are public figures have alternate jobs. You know what I'm saying? They have alternate jobs. They have alternate corporations. Corporations draw money. Money that is being drawn is often going to be what? Implicated with liability. And just like we used to hear, especially if you were my age anyway, I don't think the new gen hears it, but too often because everybody knows now that it's totally a waste of a venture. I'll sue you. I'll sue you. We used to hear this shit all the time. But this is what people really did to make things very inconvenient for corporations. But as time went on, corporations have become smarter to learn how to basically flip the contract and do what's called a counterclaim against the claimant. See, the claimant could make all the claims they want, but when it comes down to the legalese of it all, they bust your ass. And now, since you wanted to try to be retaliatory in respects to that, now you got to pay the legal fees. So now you got to pay twice as much probably than you actually did filing the claim and just keeping it pushing or not involving yourself in the first place. Now, I know a lot of what I say, a lot of people might not get. That's totally fine. Play the video over again and understand it from a higher spiritual level, not just a basic one. And understand that these courts implemented this policy because they knew that in order for a larger sector of society, see, what I was just explaining was the private society, but now I'm going to explain the public. The public society is totally misinformed about how this stuff works. And the public society is often forced, coerced, or maneuvered into actually aiding and abetting their own destruction. I try to tell people time and time again, as time goes on and time goes on, a lot of people who are in jail, the penitentiary, prison, and so forth, don't belong there. And people are like, well, some of them do. How do you know? How do you know? Just because media or someone else told you something took place, were you there? Were you present? See, these are the things that are talked about in court. So if you weren't there, here's one thing I suggest you do. Shut the fuck up. Because it ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun, because if your ass went there, you want the world to believe that you didn't do it. So don't take the media and don't take what they say on face value until, of course, you get all the facts. That's what courts are for. Courts, like I said, are there to administer decisions. I ain't gonna say the word justice because that's bullshit. Decisions by the information garnered. Most of y'all, though, give up vital information to third parties who pretend to be your friends, the snakes in the suits, and y'all give it up to them and they take it and use it against you. Because lawyers, they might not like what I have to say, and they always keep themselves hidden in the comment section. Y'all very smart. It's good for you because you'll be exposed. Are double agents. You'll employ them, they'll get your information, and they'll sell it to the other side. And guess what? They keep their hands off of it because they know how the determination is going to work out. I mean, they put it in your face in TV shows and so forth and so on. May we approach the bench? Why do both of y'all contend in public, but now we got to speak about what we need to talk about in private? Think about that for a second. Because one side doesn't want to lose their confidence in the double agency. So now you have a quadruple interest. We'll get there later. But when it comes down to it, the liable parties or the presenters of the claim and the defender of the claim are the ones who are eventually stuck with it all. And why you think lawyers live such lavish lives. But they won't tell you this stuff. Not at all. You won't hear this shit nowhere else on YouTube. Not at all. Now, you might hear it in bits and pieces and so forth, but this is the truth. Courts by contract. So people, to all individuals, you know, because the legal system, unfortunately, is the third tier to the legislature and then the executive and so forth and so on. It all comes down from the same cesspool, but they are basically the enforcement arm of policy. And if you don't believe that, then you live in an alternate reality. Because your Constitution that you believe in so near and dear, trust me, that is a memorandum of how they want their corporation to run. And they don't always agree with each other now. They have this, you know, this imagery of cooperativeness. But trust me, they don't always agree, because at the end of the day, the only thing that I know that rhymes with agree is money. And that's something that we can all agree on. From the poor to the rich, we can all agree on it. It's just that there's a great gulf set between people in society. And one of the things is the simple fact that knowledge separates wealth from what they call physical wealth as opposed to mental wealth. You get you some of this mental wealth, bitches can't touch you. See what I'm saying? See, you can have all the money in the world, but I tell you what, Jeff Bezos, everybody want to put him on a motherfucking goddamn pedestal. I bet you he got lawyers. Plenty of them. Plenty of them. Bet you got lawyers. Most of these multinational corporations y'all look up to, bet you they got lawyers. And I bet you they know that whenever somebody try to sue them, why do you think that they don't get sued? Why do you think a lot of stuff doesn't become public? Because they know how to put the gag on certain shit. Yeah. I think some people really need to start doing a more introspective look into the legal system before they try to get involved with some of this stuff. Real talk. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it's placed on my spirit to say something. I don't care if they don't like it. Hell, it's public knowledge. Very good information. It's all out there. All you got to do is get LexisNexis and you'll be locked into so many things that you have not been informed of. Yeah, that I can tell you. You will be informed highly of a lot of what goes on behind legal practices. And this should enable you to reprogram your sense of thinking to actually make better decisions. But to the lower strata of society, who they deem is lower than themselves, stay the fuck out of them courtrooms if you don't know what you're doing. I know all that shit y'all watch on social media for the brief period of time that you watch it sounds great. It sounds fantastic. It's actually factual, really. However, one thing they don't tell you is that when they're hungry and you're in front of them, they will eat you. But they can only eat you if you're in front of them. As my grandma always told me, from Maryland, rest in peace, an alligator can only catch you if you're in his face. Period. That's the truth. And a lot of y'all want to rush in there and go argue and present your case and go in there and present. Let me tell you something. One reason why you don't see a lot of videos on YouTube or social media, Twitter, I don't care where you go, that don't show the actual success of a lot of shit that a lot of people tell y'all is because the moment that it actually comes through and is public knowledge, there it goes. There's the crack that allows the light to seek in to the darkness of it all. Darkness doesn't mean evil. Darkness only means you're ignorant. But the truth is the light. They will never let the light in. Now, rare occasions have happened where they've been suppressed and mulled over and so forth and so on. But I can tell you, off of the experiences that I've had, through hard work, energy, and effort, proven time and time again. Please go down the actual category of videos. You'll see what I'm saying. They let the light in. They didn't realize it because they were being too crafty. They was being too crafty. They was moving too fast. But see, 48 law of power. Don't outshine the master. See, the master, if you understood from a scriptural standpoint, teaches the student in order to become like what? Put 2 and 2 together. 2 and 2 equal 4. Sometimes 8, depending on your actual mentality on how you view it. But to each his own. But I say this to say that courts are contractual. Stop going into courts in such a literal sense. And please, socially, keep yourself out of situations that will put you in that motherfucker. You know? Keep yourself out of situations that will put you in that. Please. I implore you on my channel, keep yourself out of situations that will put you in there. Because no matter what, if it did want to work against you, it would have to find something. Which, of course, if you don't have ammo for them to have, then they don't have no ammo to even put you in there. So they can't. They got to make some shit up. Keep yourselves out of that situation. I know people have to go through divorces and people got to go through estates, and I went through that shit. Everybody got to go through a little something. But what I do say is this. In situations that you can help, keep yourself out of them. See, the reason why so much ill repute has been brought on the SPC movement is because people don't give a fuck about being an SPC until they behind that motherfucking wall. Now everyone wants to figure out, nah, we don't rock like that. That's not how we rock. See, if you don't understand it from a general standpoint, you're not going to understand it from an esoteric one. You're not. And that's where the ill repute comes in, because now you have all these disinformation agents out here, or these other characters out here trying to profit off of something that they barely understand. That's the truth. You know? And it's been happening for well over 3 decades. And that's the reason why you have very little to noted successes in regards to it, because people don't execute right, because they do shit that puts themselves in that situation, which makes it now seem like these same people want to get out of their situation. They're looking for a way out. I don't rock with people like that. And I say it on my channel proudly. If you do bullshit in the world and you know you are a bullshit person, do not contact me. But if you want the actual knowledge and fundamental truth about this all, contact me via email, serious inquiries only. Because this is the way it is. See, everybody can't wait to get out. I should say everybody, because that's a horrible generalization. But I'm just going to say it in the hypothetical sense. Everybody doesn't want a solution until they find trouble. See, if you find solutions, you minimize trouble. And I rest my case. Touché. But to those who want the truth, glad that you're here. Glad for all the views. Glad for all the participation. Glad for all the shout outs. Glad for all the friendships. You know, those people who are actually true to what they say they do. But to those who have some type of quandary, maybe you might need to sit down and reevaluate what the fuck you really want to do in life. Because maybe you might want to do something, but maybe that you might want to do ain't for you. And hell, you could become a bodybuilder before you can actually apply some of this shit to these individuals, because this is not a physical thing. It's a mental and it's a spiritual thing. And the physical force comes last. It comes last. But the mental comes second. And the spiritual is the primary, which is the third. So it's what I call the reverse third. But that's only for those people who it's for. It's your first time viewing this channel, like and subscribe. You don't like what I have to say? Don't even leave a comment in my video section, comment section. I'm going to delete it anyway. Because I don't deal with low vibrational people in regards to certain stuff. And I'm here for enlightenment. I'm not here for argument. If you want argument, watch C-SPAN or some shit. Watch CNN. Listen to them motherfuckers. Go deal with them. You know? They got social media channels where you can put your little input in. You could have your little grievances. We don't do that over here. Very quiet in my angle. You know? Y'all stay true to the 33rd. Y'all stay true. To everybody else, please stay tuned. Agents, you know what it is. I'm gonna keep doing what I do, regardless. Cause guess what? Give a fuck what you may drive, what you think you're gonna drive. I don't do shit illegal. Trust me, I stay out of y'all way. Y'all stay out of line, because I don't even interact with y'all. You know? Don't even interact with your whole chaotic system. Because I'm out of Babylon. It is what it is. Peace, light, love. Take care. Oh, yeah. Before I lock off, to those people who actually like current stuff, where you like truth in your face, there is a series, I should say, on Netflix called Inside Job. This shit, it's comical, but if you can watch it with a sense of a third eye, and have an openness of mind, and have done enough research to know a lot of the messages that they convey and a lot of symbolism that they convey in that series, trust me, mind-blowing. Because it comes a time where your enemy can't hide anymore. And this series right here totally conveyed that message. You have to actually sit and look at what's going on and listen to what they're saying. It sounds like comedy, but the producers have a lot more involvement with it than you ever know. Like, beyond just that, you know, worldly level of looking at it like comedy. But you'll see. Trust me, I don't want to ruin it for you. Take care, y'all. Peace.